Howdy folks, I'm your lovably zany host Alfred Hitchcock.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for cutting my partner's family off because they air tagged my car without my knowledge? No. Run. Run, OP. Run. So my partner is currently deployed, so it's just me and our baby. I decided to do a 12-ish hour road trip, just my baby and my partner supported my decision. I had an argument with my partner's sister the night before I left, who was very against me going and even insisted that I leave my child with them. I was not comfortable with that decision, and I could not understand why going on this road trip was terrible. She even made a comment how she was going to talk to my partner, her brother, even though me and him have already discussed this road trip. I thought we ended on a good note since we all ate together and they were so kind to my face. Well, fast forward to a few days ago, after I had arrived. I was with a friend who got a notification stating that her location could be seen by the owner of the AirTag. AirTags are tracking devices that people use for keys. I thought that was very odd since the friend that I was staying with the night before got the same notification. However, this time I knew it was my car. I called the police since I had no idea who would AirTag me or follow me all the way to my friend's place. We later found an AirTag hidden under the dashboard where your feet go, under the carpet and floor mat. The police did some digging and found the AirTag belonged to someone in my family. I was furious. The police did some digging and found that the AirTag belonged to someone in my partner's family. I was furious. I ended up cutting those involved out of my life. Furious because they were so kind to my face and still put an AirTag on the night before I left. Furious because they knew that I have an Android, so I wouldn't have known if my friend didn't have an Apple. Furious because it's so controlling to me and downright creepy to stalk someone. It's been about 2 weeks now, and I'm starting to feel really bad about my harsh decision to cut them out. It wasn't harsh. It wasn't harsh at all. They claimed that they did it for my child's safety. They could have just asked for updates on my location. I felt like my privacy was violated, as were my friends and family. I felt undermined as a mother and that there was no trust in me. However, I can't help but feel bad that my child will go a while without seeing his aunts and uncles who adore him. Even with so many boundaries crossed, I can't help but really be sad not to have them a part of his life for a while. I feel guilty for being angry and needing space for a while because I know they truly love their nephew, so I need to know, am I the jerk? Reading that did not change my answer in the least, OP. You're not the jerk. You have a right to privacy, you have a right to not be tracked, and you have a right to not be stalked. What they did was extremely illegal here, and I can't blame you for feeling icky with the knowledge that they were following you around or watching you drive around.
Why are they so worried about OP going places with her child?
I would imagine that this more or less is that they are just using the child as an excuse and they have other ulterior motives for stalking you. So, yeah, I don't think you're a jerk. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, that was horrible. There's also an app called AirGuard and it tracks those AirTags for Android. I hope you never have to need it, but just in case. Yeah, I would honestly take the police report and ask for a restraining order. Yeah, I mean, a restraining order might even be needed here. Not the jerk. That is horribly insensitive. If they were so worried about you and your baby, they could have negotiated with you and openly offered to put a tracker on your car, but doing it in stealth mode is over the top. I hope your partner supports you in this. Like, I don't see a scenario where putting an AirTag on someone's vehicle is actually necessary. I mean, it's this is just very gray, kind of gross territory. I don't like it. I don't like the implications of it, and I really don't want to talk about the cases, the very rare few cases where this might actually be a good thing. Not the jerk. AirTags being used in this manner is a behavior that is consistent with creeps, not with people who are concerned for your safety. They can state whatever BS they want. Stay the course, keep them sidelined until your partner returns from deployment. Then your partner and you can decide how to continue the relationship going forward. This is not something that needs to be dealt with during a time of deployment. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my wife to have realistic expectations? Throwaway and on mobile. My wife and I, a 30-year-old female and a 34-year-old male, just had this argument, and I want the internet's opinion on if she is setting her sights too high or not. I love how this immediately starts off with such a high note. I want to know if she's the one who has a problem. For the past few months, my wife has really gotten into Chinese TV dramas. She started one show with a friend around Christmas, but kept going, and I'd say she watched at least 6 to 7 decently long series. Since then, is showing no signs of slowing down. I have to admit that I was already annoyed with this before we had this argument. She didn't used to be really into many shows, and a lot of times she was happy to watch whatever and knit at the same time. She said she likes feeling like she was getting stuff done, but since she watches the Chinese shows with English subtitles, she doesn't do nearly as much knitting, so it feels like she's abandoned a lot of her projects. For example, she usually knits my mom something for her birthday in March, like a hat or scarf, but she didn't, and I could see my mom was disappointed. So because of this, when my wife told me yesterday that she wants to start learning Chinese so that she can watch more shows and get more immersed in culture and that's kind of stuff, I really got irritated. I told her that Chinese is an incredibly difficult language to learn, and since she's an adult, there's no way she'll ever become fluent. She'd just be wasting her time without a hope of actually getting proficient in a language that she would only use in watching TV. I told her it seemed like an unrealistic goal and a waste of time and money. She called me a jerk and told me to F off, and I didn't give any sort of counter argument. Looking back, I think I spoke sharply, but I think deep down she must also realize that it's a stupid idea, but she doesn't want to admit it. I should also say that my wife only speaks English, so she doesn't even have any kind of foundation for learning a foreign language, much less one as notoriously difficult as Chinese. Am I the jerk for wanting her to have realistic expectations for herself? Edit, stop dumping on my mom. Of course she was disappointed. My wife has always given her something handmade for her birthday. Wouldn't you be disappointed if you suddenly stopped getting a thoughtful gift? Also, TV watching is not a hobby, it's a passive activity. Some of you all seriously need a life if you consider watching TV a hobby. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Jerk.
OP, why do you want to gatekeep your wife's hobbies? First off, you're like, oh, watching TV isn't a real hobby, but then when she wants to do something like learn another language, you're like, oh, she used to be so productive, now she's not doing anything, but then she wants to learn a stupid, unproductive language. OP, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Why do you not want your wife to learn this language? Don't dump on what people want to do with their time. I mean, she was doing these kinds of knitting projects out of the kindness of her heart, and sometimes people just get bored of hobbies, right? They move on. They aren't going to do the same hobby forever. And that's perfectly fine. That's a healthy way of approaching hobbies. I don't think that your wife is at all in the wrong here. I think that she has very reasonably said that she wants to pursue some form of knowledge. She wants to watch these TV shows and use them as a way to learn a new language, which I think is a great use of time, to be quite honest. And just because you don't like how she wants to use her time doesn't mean that it's not a useful or effective use of her time. So that's my thoughts. I do think that you're a jerk here. I think that you're acting really demeaning towards your wife, and it's pretty awful to see. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk, bro. What realistic expectations? Let your wife be happy. It's not like she wants to go to space. She wants to learn another language. Let her watch her shows. She's not hurting you. Let her learn a language. It's not hurting you. She doesn't need to be a knitting person for your mom every year.
And why can't OP make her handcrafted stuff?
I really hope she divorces you. Old mate should learn how to knit if he's so obsessed with TV time being productive. You're the jerk, OP. I'm pretty sure you're just dragging your wife down so she can get back to only watching shows that you like. That's actually a really good point that I hadn't even considered. Maybe he's really just sick of having her watch these shows all the time, and he doesn't want to take any time to take any interest in them, so he just dumps on them because he feels like he's distanced or, like there's a chasm there. Don't stretch your pretty little mind with something that's beyond her reach. Go back to your knitting. You owe my mom her birthday scarf. You're the jerk.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what this sounds like. That's exactly how I read this post. You're the jerk. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Wanting to Wear a Western Wedding Dress at My Wedding? I'm a 25-year-old female, and I'm set to marry my fiance, a 26-year-old male, in the fall of next year. My fiance and his family are Catholic and very religious. Because of this, I have agreed to a church wedding despite it not being my faith, but the one sticking point for me is what I'm going to wear. I am Japanese while my fiance is white. I don't care if he wears a tux like he wants to, but I want to wear a shiro miku for the actual wedding and an iro uchikake for the reception. My future mother-in-law is uncomfortable with this and has told me that if I want to wear a veil and a dress, I should just go with a Western style, as it will fit with the theme of the wedding better and not stick out too much. My fiance has asked me if this sticking point for me and has even suggested that I just wear a Western wedding dress and change into the Iro Ichikake for the reception to blend the two together. I feel that I've already bent them to having a Catholic wedding and that it's not too out of line for me to want to use both of my traditional outfits. His mother has offered to buy me the wedding dress and she thinks I should wear it, and I know she likely doesn't understand why I'm so upset about this. I want to respect the traditions, but I don't feel like I am being respected in turn. Am I the jerk here? Should I just do what my fiance has suggested and blend the two? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, and why is she the only one who has to compromise?
Yeah, that's the real question here is why, OP, are you the only one compromising in all of this? Like, you seem to have given them an inch and they're taking a mile, or 2 miles, or 10 miles.
Like, you've already agreed to a Catholic wedding.
They are just expecting so much out of you. They want you to basically erase all of your culture, it seems like. So, and it sounds like you like your culture, you enjoy your culture, and you want it to be a part of your wedding, and they just don't respect that. It seems like they want to basically force you out of your own wedding, and they want you to just kind of be a figure, a prop almost, and they just don't want you to have any say in it, which I think is horrible. I think that's just downright awful. And if you don't get to have the wedding that you want, then I think you're probably going to regret it for a long time. It's going to be a point of resentment for you. So I think that you should go and actually wear the traditional garbs that you want to, because this is important to you. There's nothing in the Catholic religion that says that you have to wear a specific dress. So I don't know why also this is such a sticking point to them. If they really are trying to argue that this is like a Catholic tradition, that's kind of what it sounds like. There isn't a Catholic tradition of wearing a white wedding dress. That's a modern tradition, right? So I don't think that UOP are violating any traditional norms with the Catholic Church, because white wedding dresses are such a new and recent thing. So I don't think that has a question. I mean, just ask them what Adam and Eve wore for their wedding in the Garden of Eden, right? Or any of the people in the past, right? People didn't wear wedding dresses. I mean, they're very recent. So anyhow, take care and good luck.
And if your fiance doesn't back you up, that's a bad sign.
Not the jerk. Firstly, it's your wedding and you get to wear what you want. Secondly, don't let them pull out the Catholic card. Being Catholic has nothing to do with it. I'm Catholic and I've been at several weddings where either one or both parties are in non-Western dress. Nobody cared. The bride didn't wear white or ivory. Nobody cared. There is no Catholic law stating that the wedding dress must be Western/white, etc. The only stipulation is that the clothing should be, quote, in accord with the dignity of the occasion and be respectful of those who are present. So pretty much as long as the bride and groom don't come dressed up as clowns or adult workers, you're pretty much okay. If you would like, DM me or here where you are, and I'll send you some links to church law in your area that you can present to your mother-in-law. Also, not stick out too much. It's her wedding day. She should be the center of attention along with her fiance. What's wrong with the mother-in-law and the fiance? Yeah, I mean, isn't that the point? You're supposed to stick out, and you're... Why are you being flashy and sticking out? All right, folks, it is water time. I don't have any tea tonight.
Water here.
And so I will not make you guess what kind of tea I have, but you can see I did Wordle in 4 of 6. Morgan gave us another joke here. So here it goes. What do pandas use to open their Mother Day cards? Their bare hands. Oh my goodness. That's a very silly joke. It's a very, very silly joke indeed. So thanks for sharing that, Morgan. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
You might not know this, realize this, but Alfred Hitchcock. You might not know this, but Alfred Hitchcock was a very lovably zany individual. Wouldn't you say so? Zany. Zany is the way I would describe him. Birds.